let's just not forget na HIV is just a condition, just like any other conditions in the world, and it can be managed. Let's not forget na persons living with HIV are also humans, and siguro iwasan na lang natin yung i-judge sila. Let's focus more on motivating them to go through the treatment, kasi it's really important to help the person feel supported para mag-start siya ng medication. I'm Vane Pescador. I'm 27 years old. I'm an HIV advocate. I'm also a person living with HIV since 2018. I'm also running an irregular podcast sa Vane Credible Stories. It's a small organization that we are also running based on the advocacy that I am championing. Pero aside from that, I'm a project manager sa isang graphic design industry.
Hello, my name is Riel. I'm currently a volunteer under Love Yourself, under the advocacy of HIV and AIDS awareness.
So, hi, I'm Dennis Cruz. I'm the head of ThinkBox for Love Yourself. ThinkBox is the innovations and research arm of Love Yourself. And I started out as a volunteer sa Love Yourself since 2017. And then, ayun, what motivated me to start or to join the advocacy was nung early para mga 2010 ganyan. Parang naririnig mo merong HIV ganyan pero you're not really nakikinig or parang wala lang sa'yo, and then parang lumalapit circles mo hanggang sa friends mo na, and then lost some friends ganyan. So it's really, for me, it's an advocacy close to my heart. Wow, Pia. Char. So yun. Yeah, that's how I started in the advocacy.
I'm Marvin Natural. I'm currently a fourth-year medical student from UERM, and I've been a volunteer for Love Yourself for quite some time now, since 2013, I think. And part of my volunteerism with the organization is spreading the word about HIV awareness, particularly on prevention. I am one of the ambassadors for pre-exposure prophylaxis in the Philippines. What is this? Is this a transgender flag?
Oh, mahirap to. Ano ba to?
Looks like a test. Feeling ko HIV test to.
HIV test kit. There.
So it's an HIV test kit. Okay.
Ako, first time that I got tested, actually I'm very scared, no? I was so scared to know my status. But the moment that I was there, the whole process, the counseling, medyo naging okay na din naman. And then the moment that I got my status, parang naging okay naman siya. Parang nawala yung lahat ng takot ko.
Actually, my first HIV test was with Love Yourself in one of their mass testing activities. That was my first time having tested after being sexually active for how many years? Sobrang tagal na. So parang I've never been always safe with my sexual activities, so there was risk involved there. So I was pretty nervous, especially about what will happen at that time if I tested positive. And there was a lot more stigma back then. And also when it comes to treatment, there's not a lot of information out there on what to do when you are HIV positive. So, nandoon yun at the back of my mind when I was in line kung ano yung mangyayari if I test positive. Ayun, but the process was easy naman, and they assured me that whatever the test result is, there is a way to go around it. Hindi ka may iwanan. There's something that you can do if you test positive. There's something that you can do to stay negative.
It felt different nung, na-confirm na it's really true na I have HIV. Siguro it's not the typical reaction for others na magbe-breakdown or iiyak or something like that. Ako kasi hindi ako umiyak. I never cried for HIV. Nag-pause lang ako for a moment. Parang inalaw ko lang yung self ko talaga na i-absorb na it's really true. Pero yung reaction ko is kalmado lang talaga.
Ako naging mas more aware ako, no? Especially with the things na related to HIV and AIDS, any possibilities, and at the same time, naging mas malawak yung pagkaintindi ko when it comes to HIV and AIDS awareness. Right after that, I decided to be more involved with the advocacy. That's the reason why I decided to join Love Yourself, kasi during that time, isa si Love Yourself sa mga on the front lines when it comes to HIV and AIDS awareness, providing testing, awareness, education to the people. So during that time, nag-decide ako to join the organization to help with the advocacy.
It turned out to be negative, but it didn't stop there, and it became something that I wanted to do regularly. So I joined the organization so that I can volunteer myself. I started out as a counselor. I helped other people go through the same process that I did. And I guess I got more information about HIV and the things that are lacking for especially for those who are at risk, their lack of knowledge, and there's a lot more that I can do to help the community.
Malaking turning point siya sa buhay ko na itigil yung mga bagay na dapat itigil. And also, parang nagkaroon ng purpose yung buhay ko kasi nagkaroon ako ng reason to help other people. Kaya nagkaroon ako ng passion sa advocacy. Kasi from there, parang na-realize ko na ang dami ko palang magagawang productive because of what happened. So parang naging blessing in disguise siya sa akin. I'm not really romanticizing the fact na I had HIV, pero siguro nagkaroon lang ako ng mindset na I will be using this experience to help other people and inspire other people. So yun.
Okay, for about testing, if you haven't had your test yet, there are a lot of ways to go about it. There are a lot of places where you can get it tried and tested na. The process of going through the testing and gagabayan ka naman all throughout the entire process. So there's really very, very little that you should be worried about. And if ever the test comes out negative, then good. The institution will also provide you with ways with tips that you can stay negative. And if it turns out to be positive naman, sobrang laki na ng leaps when it comes to treatment in HIV. There are very, very few side effects na, and very, very effective drugs. There's already U equals U. So if you get treated and to as early as 3 months, you can get an undetectable viral load. And basically, you are almost, parang hindi ka na talaga makakahawa ng ibang tao. Even if you have unprotected sex, you're in the prick, wala na dapat stigma when it comes to having the virus. And it's very treatable, it's manageable. People are living full lives with the virus and they are healthy.
Ayun, so there's nothing to be worried about, no? walang dapat ikatakot yung mga tao when it comes to HIV and AIDS and knowing their status. So it is very important for a person to know his or her status, especially kung sa tingin niya ay he or she is vulnerable when it comes to HIV and AIDS, especially yung mga nagiging practices din sa day-to-day life. So wala dapat ikatakot yung tao na malaman yung status nila. At the same time, for a person living with HIV, since especially sa panahon ngayon na meron na tayong mga advancements when it comes to treatment, yung mga ganung bagay, awareness, education, so dapat wala silang ikabahala, no? Meron tutulong sa kanila.
Ako, I usually advise din na kahit hindi ka sexually active, kahit na wala kang sexual history, kahit na virgin, ganyan, if gusto magpa-test, I actually encourage them din. Kasi sabi ko na not really to be parang na pinipilit natin sila maging indie advocacy. Kasi parang that can be one way of reducing the stigma rin na pagka nagpa-test sila, at least they are familiar with the process sa centers, yung mga nangyayari, kung anong meron sa loob. That can somehow encourage their friends din kapag kami nagtanong sa kanila na baka pwede mo kong samahan or ano kaya nangyayari kapag ka nagpapatest. At least kapag ka familiar sila with what's happening, they can share it dun sa mga friends nila na willing magpatest.
One thing that they really have to bear in mind is number one, to remember na hindi sila mamamatay if hindi sila papatay ng HIV as long as they follow the right treatment. Kasi yung mga infections naman mag-take opportunity lang sila kapag walang will to really live on. Number two is to make sure they follow the right treatment. And of course, if they need to coordinate with their hubs or with their counselors and life coaches, kailangan nilang gawin yon kasi wala namang ibang makakatulong sa kanila kundi yung sarili nila at yung nakakausap nila sa hubs, especially if wala silang nakakasama during the treatment. So, yun.
Teddy bear. What's a teddy bear?
Condoms.
Ayan, ARV or yung antiretroviral.
To start, I'm an advocate for PrEP or pre-exposure prophylaxis, and I'm actually the first person in the Philippines who is under PrEP under the program of Love Yourself. So Love Yourself initiated a pilot program of bringing PrEP in the Philippines to more people who are part of their network. So I part of the pilot testing, they got me as their first client. So I'm client number 001. So I started using PrEP for 2 years at that time, and I've been taking PrEP religiously for since then. The good thing about PrEP is that there's very, very little side effect. For majority of people who take PrEP, yung side effects would only last for a few days, and the side effects will not reach up to a month when you take it. Some people would have very minor side effects, a little bit of headache, diarrhea, but wala pa akong na-encounter na tao na merong adverse side effect na they would stop taking PrEP.
Say I was one of the people who doubted treatment when I started taking ARV. Kasi syempre pag nade-take ka ng medication, minsan naisip, ang tagal naman ng effect, parang gusto ko ng agad-agarang ganon. Pero kasi dahil nga pinupush nila na hindi, nag-work yan, ganyan. Di ako regular din akong push ng medication regardless ng kung anong side effects man yung mga nararamdaman ko. And after few months, naging undetectable ako. I think January 2019 naging undetectable na ako. And yes, we really have to aim for that part or for that stage na maging undetectable kasi it really eliminates the risk of transmitting other people. So, yun.
Yes, treatment works, and yung with the undetectability kasi, yun nga, it's been proven na naman kasi. What we just really need to do is to kasi as you all know, HIV is not just a medical condition din eh. Sometimes it can affect the psychosocial side of the person who got diagnosed. Kaya with the undetectability, proven naman yun. Pero what we really need to do is, kumbaga, parang to make sure na yung psychosocial needs din ng isang taong may HIV ay nami-meet din, kasi para ma-ensure lang natin yung adherence niya dun sa treatment to meet that undetectability. Kasi once you're undetectable, pwede ka nang makipag-sex ulit, pwede ka nang magkaanak, pwede kang, kung ano yung ginagawa ng mga walang may HIV.
So, basically, one of the vital roles of the medication, no, the ARVs, kasi nga hindi lang naman siya yung para dahil may HIV ka uminom ka, hindi lang naman dahil ganun, no. So may goal talaga siya kung kailangan uminom ng taong may HIV ng ARVs, which is to reach that undetectable state. So pag undetectable kasi, as you may know, untransmittable na siya. At the same time, the chances of them getting or para mahulog into what call AIDS is nalilesen din, kumbaga. So very vital at very important talaga yung ARVs.
What's this? Lego?
Are those condoms?
Condom. Talagang pinupush ko yung condoms. Sige, go. Pero tama naman ako. So.
Mukhang tama ka.
Tama.
Kapag HIV negative ka, bakit ka pa magko-condoms? Ideally naman kasi, theoretically though, na if you're HIV negative and your partner is HIV negative, if you have sex without condoms, you won't get HIV kasi wala nang panggagalingan yung HIV. And that is primarily one of, or parang misconceptions about getting HIV. In fact, a lot of the people that I encounter who want to get tested would say that kasi I'm in a monogamous relationship naman and I test negative and my partner tested negative then, and only to find out later on that there are things happening on the side. So if you have a partner and you think that you are both negative, that's good, but that's not an exactly foolproof reason to not use condoms. If you love your partner, you want to talk about protecting yourselves, and you will not guilt trip your partner for having that conversation or wanting to have that conversation. If your partner would be more at ease during intimacy, if you practice safer sex, go ahead and do it. If you care about your partner, you will take that into consideration.
Well, again, a lot of people are nahihiya, especially pagbili ng condom. So, kung nahihiya silang bumili ng condoms, then they can visit some establishments like, for example, Love Yourself, offer free condoms, no? So, pwede naman silang kumuha dun. At the same time, wala dapat silang ikahiya kasi nagiging responsable lang sila dun sa katawan nila, no? Sa sarili nila. So, it's a very responsible thing to do, no? Yung paggamit ng protection. Kasi nga, again, madaming gamit si condom, madaming inaitutulong ni condom na taliwas dun sa mga sinasabi ng ibang tao kung bakit nagiging taboo siya, no? So, wala dapat silang ikahiya for that.
Condoms also has an expiry, so yun yung unang-unang kailangan is check when it comes to using condoms, and then make sure nagagamit lagi ng water-based lubricants lang. Kasi nga, yung iba, di ba? Yung iba kasi ang ginagamit na lubricant,
Lotion,
baby oil, and kapag walang-wala na talaga,
cream silk. May brand.
oo, or cooking oil, or margarine. Oy, wag kang umarte, may ganon. So, yung mga yun kasi yung mga oil-based, so it's not really compatible with latex condoms. So pwedeng mabutas, kaya magiging risky rin. Kaya water-based lang tayo.
Condoms also protect you from other sexually transmitted infections aside from HIV. So hindi lang siya for against HIV. Meron pang other sexually transmitted infections that can protect you during sex, like herpes, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis. So marami pang mga kakaiba na pwedeng maanes kapag unprotected sex ka. So it's always better if you have that layer of protection. If you're not concerned about getting HIV with your partner, pero nakita mo someone said that they are using PrEP naman, or they're using ARV and they are undetectable, there is still a chance that you will acquire other sexually transmitted infections. So use condoms and lubricants pa rin.
Sisimula kasi siya sa, for example, usaping sex, no? Yung the reason why some people are hesitant or nahihiya silang bumili ng condoms or kumuha ng condoms kasi nga yung sa usaping sex pa lang ay hindi pa masyadong nila naiintindihan, kumbaga. So it's very important for them to be more aware about sex, especially kung example sa household pa lang na pag-uusapan na, kasi alam ko sa Filipino culture parang tabu din siya na pag-usapan ng sa pamilya pa lang. So my hopes is sana unti-unti na-open siya, at the same time nawawala na yung gap na yun, na at least man lang sa bahay pa lang nila natututunan na nila yung mga kung ano yung tama at saka kung ano yung mali.
Educate yourself about HIV. I know that we are making progress, but we are still behind. But there's progress, and we can only have a lot more progress if we involve a lot more people. So there are a lot of avenues to get yourself involved in the advocacy, or if you don't want to be part of the advocacy, just be educated. I actually admire this generation. Pardon me, because I'm older than your average medical student, but a lot of my classmates in med school are very open-minded about when they talk about sex and HIV and SOGI as well. So they want to get educated, and I hope that we continue to have that open mind in the future pa.
Let's just not forget na HIV is just a condition just like any other conditions in the world, and it can't be managed. Let's not forget the persons living with HIV are also humans, and they just have a condition same as other conditions like diabetes. So siguro iwasan na lang natin yung i-judge sila. Let's focus more on motivating them to go through the treatment, kasi it's really important to help the person feel supported para mag-start siya ng medication.
Ang message ko lang yun, actually, get tested. Kasi we all have our HIV status. That's what we always say. It's just that we do not know kung ano yung HIV status natin. And the only way that we would know is to get ourselves tested. Kasi it's really difficult to depend on the symptoms, yung mga naramdaman mo, ganyan. Kaya getting tested is the first step that we really have to do. And then there are a lot of people out there who are willing to help. You just really have to ask.
Ayun, for those who want to know their status, they can visit the website of Love Yourself para alam nila kung paano mag-set ng appointment. Kasi as of now, since the start of the pandemic, bawal pa walk-in, so appointment basis. Also, plug ko na lang din yung podcast namin, yung kasama ko, si Vane Pescador. So we have a podcast. It's called BuzzFeed. You can search it on Spotify and Apple as well. It talks about not just HIV, not just the advocacy, but mga certain topics na kung minsan taboo for some people. Pakinggan na lang nila.
About HIV, or it can be about a different struggle. So the reason it's called Pause Feed, because we want to emphasize the part na it's a positive a talk about positivity. So yun. And we also have our website where we publish articles, stories about persons living with HIV. That's vaincrediblestories.com.